Have you ever loved someone so deeply, only to find out they were never who you thought they were? This is the story of Prince Oba, the only son of King Udum of Ikpa Kingdom. Prince Oba was loved by everyone. Kind, strong, wise, and very handsome. The whole kingdom waited for the day he would choose a wife. One day, during the village moonlight festival, a strange but very beautiful girl named Adaora appeared in the crowd. She had the brightest eyes and skin that looked like it was kissed by the moon. No one had ever seen her in the village before. Prince Oba couldn't take his eyes off her. When he asked who she was, no one had an answer. Still, he walked up to her and said, "You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. Who are you?" Adaora smiled, soft and slow, and said, "I'm just a woman passing through the wind. But if you follow the wind, you may find me again." That night, Prince Oba couldn't sleep. Her voice stayed in his ears. The next day, he searched for her in every corner of the kingdom, and found her by the riverside, washing her hair with a black soap that smelled like fire and rain. Within days, he proposed to her. His mother, Queen Mornike, begged him to wait. "My son," she said, "you know nothing about this girl. She came from nowhere." But Prince Oba was blinded by love. "Mother, I have chosen her. Her eyes tell me all I need to know." The wedding was grand. Songs filled the air. Drums danced. But that very night, a strange storm came, one that blew down 3 huts and turned the village river black. That was the first sign. But Prince Oba didn't notice. In the months that followed, things began to change. The king fell sick and no healer could explain why. Every child born in the kingdom cried all night long, for 7 nights straight. And every rooster crowed at midnight, instead of dawn. Still, Prince Oba saw nothing wrong. Adaora, now the princess, became quiet and cold. She no longer danced. She no longer smiled. She spent her nights alone by the river, whispering. But one night, everything changed. That night, Oba could not sleep. He heard a voice calling his name, his mother's voice, but faint and coming from the river. He got up and followed the sound. And that's when he saw her, Adaora. She was floating above the river, her eyes glowing, her hair flying in the air like smoke. She was speaking to something invisible, something in the wind. And then she laughed. But it wasn't her normal laugh. It was deep, like thunder. Prince Oba gasped. Suddenly, Adaora turned, her eyes met his, and for the first time, she didn't smile. "So, now you know." Prince Oba froze. His lips shook. His heart broke. "What are you?" he whispered. She walked toward him slowly and said, "I was never hiding. You just never looked closely." That night, the river turned to blood. The moon disappeared. And in the palace, Queen Mornike woke up screaming. The next morning, Prince Oba was missing. His crown was floating in the river. And as for Adaora, nobody has seen her since that night. But they say, when the wind passes through Ikpa Kingdom, it carries a soft voice that sings. You should have listened when love came too easy. The kingdom of Ikpa was no longer the same. The birds stopped singing. The trees stopped dancing in the wind. And Queen Mornike, she no longer smiled. Every morning, she went to the riverbank where Oba's crown was found and placed a single white cloth on the sand. She would sit and whisper, "My son, wherever you are, return to me. Please, return." But the wind never answered. One day, a hunter named Ikmini came into the palace. He was shaking with fear, his eyes wide like someone who had seen the spirit world. He said, "I went deep into the forbidden forest, chasing an antelope. But what I saw there, it was not an animal. It was Prince Oba, but not the same." Everyone gasped. "What do you mean not the same?" the queen asked. "He was different. His eyes were gray. He was walking through the trees, whispering to himself. But beside him was a woman in red, floating. Her face was Adaora's, but she had wings like a bat." The queen collapsed. The next day, the village elders gathered. The oldest among them, Papa Irako, stood and said something no one expected. Adaora was not just a witch. She was a daughter of Ndem, the river spirits. She came not just for love, but for something else, something hidden inside the prince. "What was it?" someone asked. Papa Irako looked at the queen slowly and said, "There is a secret about Prince Oba, a secret even he didn't know." Queen Mornike sat under the moonlight, holding a small baby wrapped in gold cloth. She was crying. Beside her stood a river goddess, Mami Eid, tall and glowing. "Remember our deal," Mami Eid said. "You begged me for a child. I gave you one, with power, with destiny. But on his 25th birthday, the river will come for what belongs to it." The queen wept. "No, please let me keep him. Let me keep my son." "He is not fully yours," the goddess said, "and one day the river will send someone to collect him, whether you like it or not." The queen never told the king. She never told anyone. So now it made sense. Prince Oba was born with power, the kind only the river spirits understood. And Adaora was sent not to love him, but to awaken that power. But something had changed. She had started to love him. And because of that, she didn't take him back to the river, she took him to the forest, the only place where the river spirits couldn't reach. In the middle of that forest, Prince Oba was now sitting under a tree. His body weak, his mind confused. He looked up at Adaora and said, "Why me? Why did you choose me?" Adaora touched his face, gently. "Because the river chose you first. And now, they want their son back." Suddenly, the ground shook. The trees bowed. A voice like thunder said, "Return what is ours, or the kingdom of Ikbo will drown." Adaora stood and raised her hand. "He's not ready. Let me protect him, just a little longer." But the voice roared louder. "Time is up." Far away in the palace, Queen Mornike fell to her knees. She felt it. Something was happening. And in that very moment, the river rose. It rose so high, it swallowed trees. It swallowed huts. It swallowed silence. And in the forest, Prince Oba's eyes turned completely white. He whispered, "Do what's happening to me?" Adaora stepped back, tears in her eyes. "Your true self is waking up." In the heart of the forbidden forest, the trees were shaking. Birds flew in circles, screaming. The ground trembled. Oba lay on the forest floor, sweat dripping from his face. His chest burned. His heart beat like a drum of war. Adaora knelt beside him, whispering, "Fight it. Please, Oba, fight it. Don't let them take you." But Oba couldn't speak. His hands were glowing with silver light. His eyes were white, but tears still fell. From the sky, a loud, deep voice echoed through the forest. "He belongs to us." Suddenly, a mist rose from the ground. Out of it came 3 spirits, tall and dressed in riverweed and shells. Their feet didn't touch the ground. Their eyes were like black water. Adaora stood and screamed, "You promised me time. I was still teaching him." The tallest spirit spoke. "You were sent to bring him, not to love him." She cried, but the spirits didn't care. Oba's body slowly rose into the air, floating, just like Adaora once did. His fingers stretched longer, his voice groaned. He whispered weakly, "What am I?" She stepped closer, tears flowing. "You are the son of the river, a child born between 2 worlds. They want to use you, but I want to save you." "Why?" Adaora placed her hand on his chest. "Because for the first time in my life, I'm not just a witch. I'm a woman who truly loved." Suddenly, thunder cracked across the sky. The spirits turned angry. One of them roared, "She has betrayed us." Their hands rose, lightning formed, and in a flash, they struck Adaora to the ground. She screamed. Oba fell back to the earth, crawling toward her. "No, leave her." He touched her, but her body was shaking, her glow fading. With her last strength, Adaora whispered into his ear, "Your power is not theirs. It's yours. The river gave you life, but you choose your path." Then her body went still. The trees went silent. The wind stopped. And Oba stood. But something had changed. His eyes were no longer white. They were blue like the deep river, glowing with ancient power. He faced the spirits. And for the first time, he spoke with a voice that shook the forest. "You took my peace. You hurt the only one who loved me. Now, I choose what happens next." The spirits paused, confused, afraid. But before they could speak, the river exploded. Back in Ikpa Kingdom, the villagers screamed. The river had burst its banks. Flood was coming. The palace was shaking. The queen clutched her chest and cried, "Oba, what have you become?" Meanwhile in the forest, Oba raised his hands, and the water stopped midair, hanging like a glass wall. He looked at the spirits and said, "Go back, tell the river, I am no longer its child." But one of the spirits whispered something before they vanished. "You will regret this. She was never meant to live after the mission." Oba turned to Adaora's still body. "What do you mean?" But they were gone, and Adaora's chest was no longer moving, or so he thought. Suddenly, her fingers twitched. Her eyes opened slowly, but this time, they were black. She looked at him and whispered with a strange voice, "Oba, I don't feel like myself." Prince Oba stepped back. "Adaora?" he whispered, his voice shaking. She slowly sat up, blinking like someone waking from a deep sleep. But she wasn't looking at him. She was looking through him. "The forest is too quiet," she muttered. "I can feel it. I can feel them inside me." Oba knelt beside her. He touched her hand. It was cold. Ice cold. "What did they do to you?" he asked, barely holding back his tears. Adaora looked at him for a long time, then said softly, "When the spirits struck me, they left something behind. A curse. A mark." She turned her back to him and lifted her hair. Right on the back of her neck was a dark, glowing symbol. It moved like it was alive, like a snake sliding under her skin. Prince Oba gasped. "We need to get help. The palace healer can." "No," she snapped, her voice loud and sharp like thunder. "If I step foot in the kingdom, they'll kill me. I'm still the witch who took the prince." Oba stood still. Everything was spinning. The woman he loved, the woman who saved him, now carried a curse so strong it made the trees around her wilt. Suddenly, the wind changed. Leaves began to fly in circles. From the shadows of the forest, a figure stepped out, wearing a red wrapper and holding a wooden staff carved like a lion. It was Mama Inayo, the oldest woman in Ikpa Kingdom. The one people whispered about, the one who hadn't been seen in 15 years. "So," she said, "the river's secret is now walking on legs. And the witch of the moon has been marked." Oba stood in front of Adaora. "Don't hurt her." Mama Inayo laughed. "If I wanted to hurt her, I would have done it before you were born. I came because the kingdom is dying, and the curse inside her is the key." Adaora looked up weakly. "You know what they did to me?" "I know what they put in you," Mama Inayo replied. "It's called Obi-Idu, the heart of darkness. Once it grows, it will take over your body, and then it will speak with your voice. But it will not be you." Oba grabbed her arm. "Then tell me how to stop it. I'll do anything. Please." Mama Inayo looked into the prince's eyes and said, "You can stop it, but it will cost you something." "What?" he asked. "Your soul or hers?" Silence. Adora's lips trembled. "I've lived in darkness before. I'm not afraid." But Oba shook his head. I'm afraid of losing you again." Mama Inayo struck her staff on the ground. "Then decide quickly, because once the next full moon rises, the curse inside her will no longer sleep." Then, she vanished into the trees. The river had stopped overflowing, but the sky remained red. The people whispered of strange dreams. Dreams of a woman crying by the river. Dreams of the prince's voice echoing through the wind. And deep in the palace, Queen Mornike opened a hidden box. Inside was a small bottle of black sand, the last piece of the deal she made with the river goddess 25 years ago. She whispered to herself, "If I break this bottle, he may return. But if I do, the kingdom may fall." Tears rolled down her face. She lifted the bottle, then stopped. Oba held Adaora in his arms as the night grew cold. "I'll find a way," he whispered. "Even if I have to go into the spirit world. I'll find the cure." Adaora smiled weakly. "Even if you don't, thank you for loving me." Then her eyes shut again. Her skin turned pale. And from her mouth came a whisper, but not in her voice. The moon is rising, the heart is waking. But the forest was quiet. Too quiet. Prince Oba sat by Adaora's side, watching her sleep. But her skin had grown pale and her heartbeat slow. The dark mark on her neck now pulsed with every tick of the moon. He knew time was almost up. Suddenly, Mama Inayo appeared again, her face colder than before. "You have until the last moonlight fades," she said. "What is your choice?" Oba stood. His hand shook. His heart ached. "I give my soul," he said. "Let her live." Adaora opened her eyes weakly. "Oba, no, please. I'm not worth it." Oba knelt by her. "You gave up everything for me. Now it's my turn. I'd rather die as a man who loved than live without you." Mama Inayo raised her staff. "So be it. But remember, once this is done, there is no return. You will forget who you are. Your name will be lost. The world will forget you." Oba nodded slowly. "Let the world forget me, as long as she remembers." Adaora sobbed. She tried to stop him, but his hands were already glowing with the light of his soul, the very power the river spirits wanted. Mama Inayo chanted words older than time. The sky turned dark. The moon shone brighter. And in that moment, Oba touched Adaora's chest. A bright light exploded. The dark curse crawled out of her body like black smoke and entered him. He screamed, louder than thunder. His body shook. His voice echoed through the trees. Then silence. Oba fell to the ground, still. Adaora woke up. The mark on her neck, thin. Her skin, warm again. She sat up, confused. Then she saw him. Prince Oba. Lying cold. Lifeless. She crawled to him, held his face, kissed his forehead. "Wake up," she whispered. "Please, wake up." But he didn't move. No breath. No heartbeat. No glow. Only silence. Adaora screamed, a sound so loud the trees wept. Mama Inayo looked away, tears falling from her old eyes. He made his choice. Love always costs something. The river returned to normal. The skies turned blue. The queen, waiting every day by the river, never saw her son again. She kept the crown on the throne. But the chair remained empty. Nobody spoke his name anymore, because they couldn't remember it. Just like the deal said, only Adaora remembered. She lived in the forest now, by the same tree where he died. Every evening, she would sit and sing the song they used to sing by the river. And one night as the moon rose, a tear dropped from her eye and she whispered, "You gave me life, but I lost you." Then the wind carried her words into the night. No happy ever after. Just love, sacrifice, and silence. The prince took a wife, not knowing she was a witch, and gave everything to save her. Now, he is just a story. Or maybe a forgotten wind.